They're all drones in the sky. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We're passing each other. I mean, how do they not know what's going on?
Stop cursing.
The Bureau is actively investigating. We do not attribute that to an individual or a group yet. We're investigating, but I don't have an answer.
We had last night 49 sightings. These are apparently very, as I understand it, very sophisticated. The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark.
The White House not ruling out anything, not giving us any answers. Neither did this hearing that we just heard some questions in. So a United States Coast Guard boat testified to you that 12 drones were following it in the water in the Atlantic Ocean. Did they tell you anything about the size, what they look like? Were they able to get images? How close were they?
You know, they were pretty large, and they weren't far off the stern. So it's very, very troubling. I mean, this could be the beginning of something, or it could be nothing. Who knows? But how dare they allow us to live? I just listened to the White House spokeswoman.
Say nothing.
They got nothing to tell us.
Unbelievable.
And 50 coming from the ocean onto land.
Unbelievable.
50.
This is
I mean, this is really serious stuff.
It's insane. It's like a sci-fi movie, and whatever it is, we absolutely have to know.
Really serious
insane. It's like a sci-fi movie, and whatever it is, we absolutely have to know.
It's insane. It's like a sci-fi movie, and whatever it is, we absolutely have to know.
So, you know, this lack of answers is absolutely...
Very early in 2025, all hell is going to break loose. The volume of sightings, weird objects in the sky, it's off the charts. I am swamped by people sending me videos from all over the world. And it's not just in Bedminster, New Jersey. It's not just in the United Kingdom. It's India, Greenland, Russia, Kazakhstan, China, Japan. I cannot believe the volume of sightings that are going on at the moment. Something is showing itself in our skies. We are going to look back and we are going to say that the autumn of the drones was a turning point. There's consistent sightings of drones over military facilities. It sounds like nothing at the moment, but I wager it's going to turn out to be enormous. I think 2024 in future will be seen, ironically, as the calm before the storm. A reckoning is coming.
Out there, but that's not what's really occurring here. In fact, I've been following some of these things that have been going on Reddit, which have been getting removed. If you haven't heard, I'll share it with you here. So there's a New Jersey drones page supposedly on Facebook, a Facebook group that has 20,000 members, and people are sharing this stuff all around social media, okay? These are people who are tracking the drones, who are trying to figure out what's going on, because these are people who live in New Jersey. And again, if you're somebody who lives in New Jersey, feel free to go over to the website and share some of the images that you're capturing here on the website in the forum. That's what the forum there is for, to share this type of stuff, what you're actually seeing. Because I'm not in New Jersey, but if you are in New Jersey and you see these things, you should be capturing video footage of it or pictures of it and posting it on the forum on the website to give more credibility to some of the stories that are out there, because this is information that should be shared, and we should be looking at it deeper than what the national media is telling us, and certainly what the FBI tells us in Congress is, again, they just shrug their shoulders and play dumb, and we're supposed to believe that, oh, they're playing dumb because they're hiding UFOs. They're playing dumb because they don't want us to know that China's involved. They are running a DARPA experiment. That's what this comes down to. And one of the posts underneath this mystery drone forum that was posted, that has been deleted off of Reddit and deleted off of Facebook, said, I can tell you right now, there are military drones, our military. I have a commercial drone license, and they know when my drone is up after it reaches 50 feet. They can then assign a unique signature to it and track it on radar like a heat-seeking missile until it goes below 50 feet again. I talked to a friend in the military who also works with drones. He said 100% these are our drones, and they would only be used in such excess for a serious reason, and gave examples like tracking nuclear fallout from a dirty bomb that went off, or tracking biological weapons, tracking WMDs, or search for them from a credible threat. And he also goes on to say, I know of two families that left the state of New Jersey to stay with family elsewhere. They are both in the military. Guess what both of the family's husbands are deployed. That is why they are going to stay with family. It's suspicious. And the whole thing is obviously suspicious. It's also suspicious that there's many of these ships out to sea on the Atlantic coast that have these C-17s on there, these C-17 Globemasters, which are military cargo planes that transport drones. So there's clearly, this is a military operation. This isn't the guy up the road's teenage kids flying drones around. So what do they do while people are noticing this stuff? Well, they go to places like Newsmax and News Station. And what do they say? They say, are UFOs or drones flying over New Jersey? And they debate whether these are UFOs or not. And all one has to do is look at their own government and look at DARPA. Look at the size of DARPA's drones. They're literally the size of cars is what they're telling us. But these are like the size of small commuter airplanes, okay? And these are being deployed from the military, from these C-17s likely, every single night over the state of New Jersey. And then they're flying back out to sea. They're not being tracked on purpose. They're not being shot down on purpose. This is what DARPA does.
This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Kahala Yahweh B'Shem Elshai B'Shem Kodash, which are the true Hebrew names of the Most High Father, Yahweh, which is Hebrew for He is, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, which is Hebrew for He is salvation, He delivers. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today were known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But before we lost our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the UAPs or UFOs we've been seeing all around the world, and namely, most recently, in New Jersey. So, first and foremost, those aren't the angels, okay? Those aren't the chariots of the Lord. Now, in some of the videos that I showed, where that guy said that in early 2025, all hell is going to break loose with UFOs, some of those were the chariots of the Lord, okay? The objects which are pure balls of light, okay, that make all these crazy movements and stuff, that go faster than like jets can. Those are the chariots, okay? But these other things that we've seen, like in the very first video, that large, it looked kind of like a car above those apartment buildings, or those other videos that the Fox News was trying to show and try to make a big deal that are moving all slow and shit. Those are fucking ESAU's, drones that he's trying to pass off as UFOs. And why is he doing that? Well, like I said again, right here, right? We are not ignorant of Satan's devices. You see, these devils, they have an agenda that they need to pass. And what is that agenda? Well, to deceive the entire world. Okay, they are going to deceive the entire world into fighting against God when He returns. And how have they done this? Well, what they've done is they've implanted since the early 1900s the idea of people coming from outer space, and these people would be referred to as aliens, right? That they're creatures from other planets. But we know through these devils' own mouths and their own testimonies that these are in fact demons, all right? Or what the Bible refers to as angels on the left-hand side, left-hand angels that work under Satan, right? And again, remember, Satan works for the Most High Father, Yahweh. Okay, and why is this done? Because you see, right now the Lord, He is refining us Israelites. He is putting us through a test, I guess you could say, right? It tells us this in Judges 2:20, that the Lord is going to, see if we'll follow the other nations or we'll follow, His laws, right? For the most part, right? This is what ultimately is happening. This is why the Lord doesn't just come and destroy these other nations and just takes us Israelites up. No, he's putting us through our paces. He's cultivating us, and He's refining us. And ultimately, at the end process of all this, He's going to gather 1/3 of all the Israelites. That's 1 out of every 3 Negro, Latino, Native Americans. that are going to be selected, right? Plus the 144,000 elect. Now, in the meantime, the Lord has initiated these other plans around the world, all to refine us, to, have us go through prophecy, right? And he's using his top tool, known as these Edomites, the so-called Caucasian and Israeli races, to push forward this grand deception, right? To see if we'll fall for their deception, take the mark of the beast, and forsake the Lord, right? And in that deception that these Edomites have been charged to do, because they are under the delusion that it's going to save them somehow, or it's going to allow them to continue their rulership here on earth, they're going to deceive the world into thinking that there are so-called little gray men from Mars, right? That they're coming to Earth, and that they're going to introduce them to us. Either that, or they're going to have these drones shoot out planes out of the sky to scare the shit out of everybody, to let everybody know, say, hey, we got to militarize space. We got to protect ourselves against these aliens, these creatures that are coming from outer space, so we could protect ourselves. And hence, just like Ronald Reagan and all these people from before who have been trying to push this narrative that the whole world will come together as one to defend ourselves against an outside force. Well, that's all so that way Esau can gather all the nations together to deceive them, so that way they can all fight against the outside forces, which in reality is God returning, the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, returning with the thousands of angels, right? And tells us here, it says Revelations 20:7. It says, when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. But the main part is right here. This is what I really wanted to get, right? And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Now, what is this talking about? This part right here. You see, the 1,000 years that Satan was locked up is talking about the time when these Edomites fell from their rulership of the Roman Empire, when they ruled Rome. This is around 200 or 400 AD, right? Because remember, they enslaved the southern kingdom of Israel around 70 AD. They took a lot of them back to the Roman slave markets and enslaved them. The others that were not killed off or enslaved, those Israelites, the majority of them fled down south to Africa and dwelt on the west coast of Africa for 1,500 years before the Lord brought them over here to America. But those slaves that got taken to Rome, they eventually came up and they overpowered these Edomites in Rome, right? And they did that by gaining their freedom. If you watched Gladiator 2, you kind of seen how Marcanus, the guy who Denzel Washington played, how he used cunning and craft to basically seduce the rulership and ultimately corrupt the systems and infiltrate the high society. That's basically what Jake did when he got in and he took over Rome, right? This is why these Edomites had to eventually flee, because they just didn't meld with the new society, which the southern kingdom of Israel, Jake started producing there in Rome, right? They didn't like the switching from a pagan worship of the pantheons of gods to one single God. They didn't like the way the society was being ran. So what did they do? They started to flee to the outer skirts of the Roman Empire, namely up there into the Caucasus Mountains, okay? And they dwelt there for 1,000 years, okay? And this is where the Roman Idumeans, the Roman Edomites, started to be referred to as the Caucasian race, right? Also, they refer to as the Khazarians, right? The Amalek, the top tribe of the Edomites, they basically they ended up dwelling there in the at the base of the Caucasus Mountains in Khazaria. They came out first, and then the rest of these Edomites came out, and they came into Europe around 1200 to 1400 AD. And then they started to take over little by little. They did the exact same thing that Jake did in Rome. They started to subtly come into the society as workers, laborers, and they came up. They started getting more stuff because the Lord put it on their spirits again for them to rise up, right? And that's what it talks about here, right? Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Right? That prison is them being brought down to a base state, right, where they didn't know about things, right? There's an amazing show called Vikings, right? And namely I think it's season 2, right? Or season 5, it's the last season, where it shows this man called Leif Erikson, right? He was a Viking, and it shows how he was a very smart Viking, basically being an Edomite, but it shows how he was coming up with all these ideas. He was going to Constantinople and he was learning all the algebra and all these sciences, and he was basically coming up in the sciences and knowledge. That's basically Esau coming back into his state of power, where he started to learn stuff. He started to learn politics, science, and all these things, to where he was able to overtake the Judite, basically dominated society there in Europe. And little by little, like it tells us in the scriptures, the kingdom was translated from one people to another through deception and treachery. And that's when the Renaissance happened and whatnot. But all that took place so that way these devils can go out to do what? To deceive the nations, right? To basically turn everything upside down. And we are currently living in this upside down world which these Edomites have crafted. And now that we're at the very end of their society, they are coming out with all guns blazing. All deception is being pushed to the front to basically deceive all the nations. This is why you're seeing all these drones going out to all over the world, because they need to convince the world that the earth is under some sort of peril, and this is what's going on. So there definitely are chariots showing up right now. We're starting to see a lot more chariots showing up around the world, but we're also seeing these Edomites starting to push forward their agenda of this blue beam, deception, psyop, where they're going to bring out all these drones. They're probably going to send out projections into the skies, and they're going to deceive the people, because they see the chariots are coming too, right? They see that the Lord is visiting the earth now, and now they're having to actually, go forward with this agenda, which they have. And like the guy showed in the video, showing those DARPA drones, man, those are huge. Those are basically what you seen in the very first clip of that large ass drone flying over those apartment buildings. Okay, it's basically like the advanced technology that Esau has. Now check this out. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. You see, the Bible itself tells us here that these devils, Satan himself and his angels beneath him, which are including these Edomites, because again, these Edomites are messengers of Satan. They are trying to bring forward his world. They're trying to continue his kingdom. They are going to transform themselves, present themselves as these chariots of God. They're going to pretend that they're the aliens, right? That they're these crafts or chariots of light that we see everywhere. They're going to say, oh, look, that's these over here. And by the way, they're aliens. And look, we've captured some, and we've got some biologics over here that we've gathered, and we know what these are, and oh look, they have a message for us. What? We should worship them? We're God. They're gonna give us all these type of bullshit deceptions, and we just gotta be careful. Okay, we gotta not fall for Satan's devices, right? Because they're gonna bring out a heavy deception, and in that Fox News, fucking Oscar, award-winning, acting, like that lady was saying, it's like a sci-fi movie, and the guy's there interrupting her because he's all excited, he wants to get out his excited, diatribe of how, dare they not tell us what it is? We demand to know. These guys are fucking laying it on thick, right there, and like the guy said in the video, just earlier, this was reported today, but this took place here in California. You had a man, a Chinese guy, fly a drone on November 30th over the military base over here, Vandenberg military base, and they shut that shit down, and they tracked him down. Because why? Because the thing is they control the space, right? It tells you that Satan is the king of the air. These guys dominate the space, and they know everything that's in the sky, okay? And if they don't know if it's in the sky, they're going to shoot it down. And That's the truth of it. So these devils letting these drones fly over, military bases and of all fucking places, right? Of all the places in the earth, they're gonna just happen to go over Donald Trump's golf course, right? Why? Because these aliens wanted to get a couple of shots in at the golf course? No, because they're doing this shit for publicity. They're doing this so that way the vast majority of the population looks at it here in America and they get swept away by the hyperbole that they're fucking pushing out. Okay? This is why you're seeing it on the news. This is why you've had talks about this in the Senate. ESAU is currently trying to deceive the world that aliens are visiting the world, when in fact the truth is that God is visiting the earth, and they're ultimately going to be coming for good, right? The Lord is shortly on his way back, right? But these devils, they gotta push out that deception. They gotta control the narrative. They gotta say, oh, it's little green men from Mars, and and all this stuff, and they're gonna trick everybody into fighting God when he returns. Revelations 1:7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. So this is how we know that the Lord isn't coming back yet, because these drones, not everybody has seen them. Not everybody knows what is being talked about. When the Lord comes back, it's not going to be some random little, lobes of light here, or some, car-sized drones flying over New Jersey. No, it's going to be a worldwide event. The sky is going to be filled with so-called UFOs, okay? And there's going to be massive fathership up there, man. Right? The mountains of brass, which are so big that they go over the horizon and you can't even see the other ends of it, man. That is what we have to look forward to, Akim. Not these, sparse amount of drones flying over New Jersey or off the coast of Orange County over the sea, or just, random places over DC. No, man, that's ESAU trying to push out a narrative, trying to deceive the world. And it's going to ramp up. It's going to continue to get more and more sightings. But again, it's only going to lead to ESAU's deception, because these are not aliens. This is ESAU, pushing out that deception. This is Daniel's 7:13. And I saw in a night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man come with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. See, so that's what's going to happen when the Lord comes back. He's going to come back with thousands of angels, right? The clouds of heaven. Okay, so this isn't the Lord. These aren't, it isn't starting yet. The Lord is sending chariots, Akim. Don't get it mixed up. But those chariots are the ones that are those global lights that you see flying super fast, or they're moving faster than anything that we can conceive, right? The ones that are making all these crazy moves that fly into the ocean. Those are the chariots, okay? Those are the chariots of the Lord. These other slow, hovering, those aren't it, okay? If it looks materialistic, like if it looks like it's a physical thing, that's not the chariots of the Lord. That's ESAU's high-end technology. So either way, Akim, hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem El Shai, Ba'Shem Rakak Wadash. Shalom.